Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Keep your back straight, neck hip straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes to clarify ourselves how this practice can help for us to cultivate our inner awareness. So this meditation sessions mainly based with the tranquility meditation and vipassana meditation or insight meditation. So the very purpose of this both meditation techniques, cultivating your inner awareness. Your mind is the forerunner. Your mind is the chief of this life. And the mind is the creator of this all. And when it comes to our human history, many thousand years ago, there was only one science. It called Adhyatma Vidya. So Adhyatma Vidya means, Adhyatma means this inner investigation. The Vidya means the science. So as you know, within like few hundred years, this all the other science and technology start to came to our life. And most of time that all other science take us away from our inner awareness. And now today we are more into the outside world. And we all look for, we all like for cool heart, we all like for cool people. But still, even though through this outside science and technology, how we achieve this coolness, maybe we have time to travel to very cool area within few hours, few minutes. You can drive from here to very cool area, very snow area, and you can play with the snow. And you can, you know, in the summertime, you can cool your house. And you can have a very cool room. And nowadays, as you know, you can have a cool chair. And sometimes you can have with the ice bath, so kind of like that, very cool body. And at the same time, out of this all, having a cool mind is so difficult. Even though this outside everything cool, our mind is so boiling and it is so hot. So in the ancient time, people knew, our ancestors knew how to cool down our mind. Your mind going to cool down with only one way. There is no any other ways. Because then how they knew the method to cool down the mind. So let's go back to the beginning. Why your mind always boiling? That's why the Buddha mentioned the unsatisfactory nature. The world depends on suffering, dukkha, unsatisfactory nature. Why your life is here like this? Why this everything in this very moment? Why this everything happening around you? How this all came to you? Why your consciousness always into something? Have you ever thought? Because deeper underneath this unsatisfaction, it's a very genuine, real, authentic unsatisfaction inside you. That's why we keep coming through this samsaric journey. And even forget about the beyond our birth, even from birth to today. If you look if you take a little time and look very carefully, you will see why you always came through this everything, why you into so much drama in life, why you into so much difficulties in your life. You had the idea to find the satisfaction and escape from the unsatisfaction. So that's mean that there is a very genuine unsatisfaction in you. It's always going to be there. That's why it doesn't matter whatever the lifestyle that we go through, and beggar to the millionaire, just ordinary civil person to the president, everybody has some kind of unsatisfaction. But the thing is, we not look into that. So if you don't develop the science to understand this inner unsatisfaction and from where it comes, you always look into this outside happiness. So there is a very simple method. In the ancient time, they found out. Just imagine, it's a very famous that we say, let go. So whatever the difficulties, whatever the problems, situations, people, sometimes we say, okay, let go it. Have you ever thought where it go? And from what point it go? Because when you have the idea to let go, you already self-centered with some kind of different idea. And that's why this letting go idea itself, even you as a mantra, we every day think about it doesn't work for us. We all know that. Because there is no place to go. And sometimes people always allow things to come in. And they do many kind of rituals and many prayers to things to come in. So even when you have idea to come in, so that also come with the self-centered idea. See, deeply where we rooted. So when you have the idea to let go, it also self-centered. When you have idea to let in, that also self-centered. So that's why we have to develop a method, a science, to accept everything and just let it be. So to recognize that method in the very first level, as you know, when you develop the idea that the method, this mechanism of tranquility state, you start to see things as it is. So to see things as it is, let yourself to be as who you are. So if you have a different idea, if you not allow you to be as you are, how you can see things as it is? So then rather than let go idea, rather than let come idea, develop the method, let it be. Can you do that? Some people get paralyzed when they hear that, because the very current itself to always go against something or always to gain something. We have no even very simple way of very in a very conventional level of understanding, just let it be. So if you develop that in you, not about the spiritual development, in very conventional level as an ordinary person, you gain a lot of peace and happiness and satisfaction, because that is very necessary. Look at the world today we experience. We no need to go to any scriptures or any kind of secret mantra or the sutra. We no need any kind of rocket science or anything. Look this pandemic situation, how from where it came. And it came from one person. And how that person got it. And there are many ideas, but just make it simplified. And they think it came from a bird or kind of like some kind of animal from the nature. So from that point to today, we all suffer. So then we have to understand, even though far away in this sky, if there is a bird fly, we have no responsibility to have a ownership for that bird, but still we have to take care of that bird. Otherwise, we can't survive like this. Because that what we experience this, that during this pandemic situation, that all the ecological and geographical, then scientific karma that we go through is a very result of our own human mind. Because sometimes we don't allow things to let it be. We unnecessarily interfere for the nature, for the people, for the animal. Look at the world. After this many civilizations, still how the people be that disturb to animals. Then now we know a lot of that, or most of the environment, and day by day, and becoming a danger for us, and becomes kind of like a come against us. It's not because the nature kind of like have a consciousness to come back to you and catch you. No, it is we are a part of the circle, and this our consciousness is everywhere. We exist like this because a part of that entire universe. But the thing is, we don't allow things to be like that. We have always idea to interfere. Even at home. Well, children, someday with them, this is nowadays children. And the parents doesn't teach them to just let it be. The parents mostly push them to interfere with something. And then when they become adult, they have that nature. And then even you become husband, wife, children, parents, brothers, sisters, even just family at home. So whatever you see, whatever you use, sometimes you don't allow even these material things to let it be. Just imagine the cell phone. And there is a way that you can see how many times that you look at the phone, how many times you touch the phone. You can look and then you see. And especially these young children. And they have no life, they can't understand how they can live without this anything. But when it comes to life, even though this everything have some kind of comfort, this all the consumer product brings us certain kind of comfort, the real life happening inside you. So that's why through this meditation, it allows you to experience that. And because if you don't experience it, maybe you experience the entire world, but you miss the inner, the real awareness that how this happens. Why it is important to understand? Because the Vipassana meditation or the inside meditation take you to that level of understanding. Because if you don't understand this consciousness, awareness, and how this happens inside you, so whatever you experience, it's not going to be complete experience. I'll give you some information. So whatever the colors that you experience around you, that colors, as example, this cup is white. And you can see it through this computer or the cell phone or iPad or anything. It appears as white. But the thing is that white, when it go to the deeper, the very foundation of the material world, as you know, this all the material things depend on the electron, neutron, and proton. So the atom itself not white. It doesn't have a color. And electron, neutron, proton doesn't have a color. But then, because your eye inside doesn't have any kind of color that mixing in your brain and bringing that. But the thing is, when you see this, you recognize it as white. So from where this became white like that? Because if you go to the depth of this cup and to the material foundation, the very elements, it's come out of the atom and the electron, neutron, proton, and it doesn't have a color. And if you go to your eye, this one, and then here, physically, it doesn't have any color mixture. So the sound the same, that whatever the sound that from here, that my words itself doesn't come to you. So it's the waves start to bring the sound to the computer, and through the computer and through the internet, look how that you grab it from it. And then inside you also, it doesn't have a different kind of mechanism that create according to my lips and according to create some kind of, but you hear. The nose, the smell, the same. There is nothing inside you kind of like create any smell, and even whatever is outside. And exactly, it is not a kind of like you can gain something as, oh, this has a exact smell like that. So this is life we experience, sensation the same. End of the nerves, there is nothing that kind of like already build up something to catch the certain sensation the way you want. And inside the mind also the same, that all the ideas that you have, the colors, the pictures, the forms, the names that you carry, it is not somewhere already set up and piled in your brain. So this appears, but the very moment of experience, when you have it, have you ever thought from where it comes? And sometimes people think that it is in their head, it going to pile up. That's why sometimes, oh, it's in my head. It's in my head. It's a very common thing we use. But there is nothing that already built up and concrete memory that going to be there in you. It appear. But the beauty is this. So when you think out of your experience, so the experience and thinking do two different things. When you think, you gain this as a white. You have to digest it and think a little bit, you know. But when it comes to the real moment of conscious experience, this doesn't have a color. So everything the same with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. When you exactly experience the moment, the very consciousness engage with the perception, in that very moment, there is no color, there is no kind of sound, there is no kind of smell. It has only the recognition. That's why that is the only place you don't have the doubt. Everything in the universe, everything in the past, the future, you can have a doubt. But the moment you don't have the doubt is the very moment of experience, that your conscious engagement with the perception. But look, that's why the Nibbana means it not depend on the names and forms. The samsara is depend on names and forms. So when your mind always in thinking mood, that means you always have the names and forms. That means you depending from something which you don't see. In that very moment, you disconnect. You divorce from the very perception. Why you divorce from that way? Because you have the self-centered mind. This is me. Otherwise, when it comes to experience, you and other things, there's no separation. And it is not only for you and me. It happened to Galileo also. I'll give you an example. When the Galileo looked through the telescope, he observed the entire universe, all other planets, and he understood that all other planets moving, changing, and phases by phases. But still he didn't prove himself. The earth is moving. Because he didn't observe itself, the place he grounded. So from the ancient time to the Buddha, the people, the samadhi meditation or tranquility meditation is like what the Galileo did. And observe through the unmovable, very solid posture towards outside, and through that they achieve to understand, to experience outside world with the mental objects. So that is tranquility state or the samadhi. It gives a very balanced, very rooted, very natural way of observation to recognize things as it is. But what the Buddha introduced, rather than observing any kind of mental object, and he start to reverse the mechanism and observe the mind as the subject and the mind as the object. So that is the very nature of the vipassana. So it's like this. When just imagine you go to the telescope and you observe through the telescope. But if you don't see your own mind, the behavior of your own mind, the place you settle down, in that very place, the very nature of that place, according to that, your own mind, and according to the place that you hold, your point of view going to change. But the Galileo didn't understand it. But later Copernicus understood it. See, that even the Galileo missed that. The Copernicus find out that. So same thing, that what we sometimes recognize, it is truthful, it is good for this moment. But how you know there is something you missing? It's not about outside experience, within your own experience. How about that? When you experience something, if you miss one part of it, who can tell you? So that's why the community of Sangha is important. Because this journey need to go as a community of Sangha. That's why we need each other. Because we have our own very blind spot. We can't see sometimes. And sometimes that what we see, and we have no ability to recognize it from our own point of view, to observe our own place. So when it comes to community of Sangha, listening to the Dhamma, and when we go interfere with this kind of things, and it give a kind of like open a space for you to be free yourself and get out of that your point of view and settle down a little bit and observe. So that is it's very necessary when we go through this journey, because this journey, the result not going to come overnight, but over time it's going to happen. So then little by little, we need to practice ourselves. Why? Because this deeper understanding, this deeper recognition come out of your own practice. So for that, in the beginning, we have to come to a very solid, very clear, very sharp moment to observe and settle down with our mental object. So that is the tranquility state we develop here, samadhi. So when it comes to samadhi or tranquility state, don't misunderstand. It is not about you going to focus to everything. Samadhi means you take a conscious decision and select a mental object and be with only that mental object. That is samadhi. Not with everything. So then here we come to a point to observe our own inhalation, exhalation. So then you have to develop a self-discipline in you. Even though many other thoughts arise, maybe it is very important that maybe you think. But for the moment, you take a conscious decision to be with your own inhalation, exhalation. So then give your fully attention. It is not half. Give your fully attention. And recognize when the inhalation happens as inhalation, when the exhalation happens as exhalation. And remember, just let it be. Don't interfere. Don't let it go or don't try to take in. Just let it be. If it is go, just recognize it as exhalation. If it is come, just recognize it as an inhalation. So by the time when you observe that, sometimes you experience long inhalation, just recognize it as a long inhalation. If you experience as a short inhalation or exhalation, just recognize it as that. And by the time sometimes your body start to calm down, and so the calming down the body, inhalation happen, calming down the body, exhalations happen. The calming down your mind, inhalation happens, calming down your mind, exhalations happen. So it is not you're doing anything, but things happen, you just recognize. So whatever, just let it be. And by the time, little by little, the breathing, your body, your mind, these all three things start to work as one. So it is not you achieve something. It is not kind of like a bringing. It is happen as a course that the result of settling down. This is the cause and effect. There's nothing else. So then by the time, little by little, when the mind, the body, the breathing start to work as one, your awareness become more sharp and clear, vivid. And in that very moment, you can see how the thought arising, passing, how the thought arising and passing. So we'll start to see that. And when you're able to see that little by little, in a certain moment, these thoughts also start to settle down. And in that very moment, you're able to see the very roots of the thoughts. So that is the highest level of tranquility state. You can see not the thoughts, you're able to see the very roots of the thoughts. When the thought arises, you see from where it comes, what is the background, and it is kind of like entering to the universe through the rabbit hole. So because you experience just the thought, but behind that one thought, you enter into your past samsara journey. That's mean your whole journey that you went through the past. So one thought, it's kind of like a bubble come out of the universe, the ocean. So when you're able to go through that bubble and you see the depth of the ocean. So like that, you're able to see the thoughts. It is not somebody else. It is happening in you. It is not even that you are personally happening. You recognize the very behavior, very nature of your body and your mind. That understanding will give the clarity regarding your mind and as well as others' mind. And then you recognize how this human mind works. And then you know how other people's mind work. And when you have that understanding, as example, if somebody come to you and tell, I like it, and then you know, it has a deeper history. And maybe somebody come and tell you, I hate it. You know, it is not the person in that very moment. It comes with the deeper background. So then when you have that, you become more careful, you become more conscious regarding your reactions. So that giving you kind of like a universal harness, because that with the outside things, your engagement and your awareness going to become so deeper. And when you go deeper, 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 you recognize this all happening within within your own experience related to the greed, hatred, and the delusion. So once you know that, it's kind of like uprooting that all the desires, this everything start to settle down and disappear itself. So there is nothing to do in the beginning, only thing, just let it be. But by the time when the body, mind, the breathing start to work as one, you need to have some kind of effort, the strength to observe thoroughly, deeply, when a thought arises, to see the thought, the roots of the thoughts. Why? Because we are the very result of the thoughts. The one of the most ugly thing and one of the most lazy things, one of the most miserable things is just seeing ourselves. But through this practice, you will enjoy it, and it give the beauty to your practice to and see. And then once you enjoy that, once you go with the step by step towards that, you will recognize that is the most beautiful thing that can happen to you. What is that? Seeing yourself, seeing your own thoughts, and by yourself taking a very conscious decision and uprooting it. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit. So your right palm on your left and neck head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes 3 times yourself and say So Patveva, oh, may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment. This is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. Just recognize it through the sensation. Inhalation as inhalations, exhalations as exhalations. Do nothing extra. Bring the attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light as far as you can. Expand the capacity little by little. To your backside. To your left side. Into your right side. Downward. And upward. To all 6 directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata ca ammehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddhang pujemi dhammang pujemi sanghang pujemi Attaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadhi maranam ha paribundhisami Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.